Hello Motor Rider World fans, and just a little bit of paddock talk on this Thursday back at MotoGP. Portimao round one, it's about to kick off. As I said, it's Thursday, and it's just great to be back in the paddock. Great to see so many familiar faces that I've built up great contacts with over the last year of coming to MotoGP races, and of course catching up with Brad and Darren Binder and all the other South Africans that are in the paddock. Just came out of the press conference with Pecco Bagnaia, the champion, Fabio Quartararo and Marc Marquez, and just hearing the insights there from those three riders. It's pretty much the same theme from all of them. It's going to be a tough season with 42 races. The sprint, they don't call them sprint races, the sprints is going to throw a whole new curveball at it. But, you know, Pecco seemed quite excited, and why wouldn't he be? Because he's on a perfect sprint race bike on the Ducati. Well, he's on a Ducati. He said pre-season has gone to perfection for him compared to last year, where they had a lot of struggles. You know, we all know how he battled at the beginning half of last season. He said this season's pre-season has been fantastic. He feels comfortable with the bike. They've made the changes that he wanted. He wanted the bike to turn easier, to be able to carry more corner speed, better under braking. He said they've ticked all those boxes. So Pecco just looks brimming with confidence. He looks unstoppable in many ways. Fabio said the engine has improved with the Yamaha, but we're still far behind. We need to make big improvements still. And he touched upon a really good point, is that Yamaha have always seemed to start the season off with this, and they've never made any kind of progression. They've never, kept working and kept adapting and kept developing. And he said that's something we've got to do this year. We can't just have this bike at the start of the season and then, that's the same bike. To be able to compete with Pecco and the rest of the guys, we're going to have to just keep evolving, keep developing. So that was a really interesting note there made by Fabio Quartararo. But he knows he's in for a big fight. He doesn't look fully confident at all, I must say. But he knows the challenge that he's got underneath him. He says they need a better bike. They still have a lot of work to do. Marc Marquez, he was also there, and he also just said, we are not going to fight for the podium, certainly the win here in Portimao. He said that straight. Speaking of Mr. Fabio Quartararo, there he is, going past. But yeah, Marc Marquez said they are not. They are nowhere near competing for podiums and race victories. They've got a lot of work to do. He's only really had one day of development on the final day at the Portimao test, because up until then they were trying, all these different bikes, all these different things. So he's realistic. He knows they've got a lot of work ahead of them. So yeah, he was also kind of playing everything down, saying we've got a lot of work to do. It's a long season. We've got to just keep working to try and beat Ducati. All the focus was on Pecco and Ducati. Ducati was mentioned a lot, as it should be. An interesting fact that I picked up on was, when Pecco talked about, they asked about title contenders and that, and Pecco said, of course, Enea Bastianini, his teammate's going to be fast, Fabio's going to be fast, Marc's going to be faster. No, not one mention of this team or of that man, Brad Binder and KTM. Just shows that they're just not where they need to be either. So yeah, speaking to a lot of people in the paddock, it's pretty much what we've seen from testing so far. KTM, a lot of work to do. Honda, a lot of work to do. Ducati, ready to go racing. Their riders just look happy. You look at them. Alex Marquez looks like a reborn man the way he walks around here. He's just got this new confidence about him. Chest out, happy in his Cressini team. So yeah, it's going to be a very interesting weekend. I can't wait for the weekend to get going. I'm chatting to Darren Binder. Look, check out the interview that I did with him. Nice walk around his bike as well on our Facebook page. So yeah, it's going to be a very interesting weekend. Finally, we are back MotoGP racing. I cannot wait for it. Getting a little bit colder now as the evening comes in Portugal, but during the day sweltering. My neck's already luminous red, and my legs, my UK skin is not used to the sunshine anymore. So yeah, excited to get going, and stay tuned to Motor Rider World Facebook page, YouTube channel, and we'll bring you as much content as we possibly can. And as we see some funny guy going past there, yeah, we'll bring you as much content as we possibly can. Get ready for race weekend, people. It is finally time to go racing in MotoGP.